I learned a lot in college, and there was a good mixture of failure and success, and so that's what I want to talk to you about now. I sort of scratched my head today thinking about what exactly I would share with you because there's so much I've learned, and I really wanted to point out some things that maybe you haven't heard before. So the first one is that we need to start learning from our success, not just our failure. We talk all the time about failing hard, failing fast, that we shouldn't be afraid of failure. It's the best thing because you can learn from it. And I think that's still true, but I think we need to start giving success a little bit more respect. Because if we just keep falling into success and we don't actually go back and say, why were we successful, and look at those things, we can't repeat that success over and over again. So we might be successful at something and say, wow, I did all these different things. That must be why I was successful. And we never really spend much time looking at that because we didn't fail, so who cares, right? But what happens is probably half the things you did were actually wrong. You could have done them a lot better and been much more successful. And so if you start attributing success to all those things, you're going to start repeating the same mistakes and failing to actually get better. So I think we need to not just learn from our failure, but learn from our success, and I'll tell you what, it makes you a whole lot happier too. So as entrepreneurs, I really like to compare us to an army of Energizer bunnies holding hammers in a field of nails. Because we're go-getters, and we really see a ton of problems in the world, and we just want to go out and solve them, and we think we can do everything. So we fill our plate with all these things we want to do. And we look like these guys. We're gung-ho. We're ready to go. Nothing can stop us. We're the best in the world. But what ends up happening is you fill your plate a little bit too much, and you start to feel the pain. So eventually you're going to fall flat on your face and realize that you just can't keep it up anymore. And you might be able to do it for a while, but eventually you're going to get overwhelmed, and you're going to lose control. Everything's going to explode. You're not going to be able to handle all the stuff going on. And what really happens is you don't have enough time, energy, passion to dedicate to all the different things that you put on your plate. And so one of the things I learned this year was to really just say no. You're always looking at all these things you could do, all these awesome ideas you have, and that's excellent. But if your plate's already full and you already are doing all these things that you're passionate about, you need to make sure that what you're doing is what you're most passionate about, what you most care about, and that you can actually dedicate all the time, energy, and effort that those things deserve. Because if you don't, it's all just going to explode in your face like that spaghetti all over that kid's head. And the last thing I want to share with you today is that people matter most. We talk about people a lot in entrepreneurship, but sometimes I don't think we give them enough credit. I mean, what's more amazing in life than the people around you? What is more complex, interesting, and incredible than your fellow human beings? I don't think there's anything. And so I've got a couple people here that will each demonstrate a couple different points about why I think people are most important. So first up on the top is my roommate and best friend, Mitch. He's really what keeps me grounded. We talk about customer discovery all the time in entrepreneurship, and that's all about people. We need to get to know our customers, otherwise we're going to be building things for no one. And so whenever I have a new idea or I think something's cool, there's a new feature I want to add to something, I usually go to Mitch first and I say, hey dude, what do you think about this? Because Mitch, he's an awesome kid, but he's just so in touch with a lot of people. He's really in touch with sort of the average person and really knows what they might use, what they might like. And so he's sort of a good filter for me. And it's nice to have people around like that will keep you grounded and will keep you from living in this sort of bubble in your own world. Next up is my girlfriend, Carrie. A lot of people say if you're going to be an entrepreneur and you want to be successful, you shouldn't have a boyfriend or girlfriend. They're going to take up way too much of your time and distract you. And I think that's absolute BS. Because if anything, Carrie makes me time. She's like, oh, you're busy tonight? Sure, I'll make you dinner and do your laundry. I mean, what's wrong with that, right? That being said, I cook all the time too. But no, I mean, she's really what's helped keep me sane, That kid who spilled the spaghetti on his face, that was me at some points during this past year. And Carrie's what really brought me back. And so it's really important that you have those kind of people in your life. And then last up is some of my team members at Fetch Notes at our recent Christmas party. You can see the second guy from the right there is actually my co-founder, Alex Schiff, who's sitting right down here. And I think some of you have heard from him before. All I got to say about them is, man, that is an awesome team to work with. And when I was growing up, I had that success. I was like, yes, I had so much success, but actually doing those sorts of things and having that success within a team is so much more rewarding And one other thing we can learn from Alex, this kid networks his ass off. And when it comes down to it, you could be like the best person on paper. You might be a genius. You might be so talented on paper. You're better than everybody else. No one can defeat you. But some scruffy kid is going to come along, and he may be really smart and talented too. He may not hold a candle to you, but he's going to use all of his connections, and he's going to kick your ass. So that's what I think about Alex, and that's something that I've really learned from him. So that's why people matter most to me.